Hey everybody, this is Alex Merced with another video in our Django view build. Okay, so in our last video, we built the ability to log in. In the process, we learned how to set up cores in our Django application, so that way we can send requests to it. We set up the form, which is something I'm going to want to revisit, and we learned how to use events to send information to a parent component. And again, when the event is coming from one of your routes, you have to kind of imagine that chain of events. So the route is going to bubble it up to the route link component, and then you're going to capture it there. That's kind of what we did in the last adventure. Now, one of the problems I did have in that last one was using the inputs from Bufy, though I think I got that figured out now. So we're going to go back and revisit that. Okay, so I'm going to go back and copy these inputs again. I just want these two are fine. Okay, we'll copy those two. And I'm going to paste them in here. Okay. All you have to do is attach V model. I'm going to get rid of the max length. V model equals, in this case would be username, and in this case it would be in the password field, which would be this one. So we would say V model equals password. I'll get rid of the value. I'll get rid of the value for both of these. Because what happened was, I was looking at the documentation before. See, I was looking at the fields section, which is the parent, this component right here. But to see how to grab the data, we need to look at that one, which would be under input. And then this is where, if you scroll all the way down, okay, you can see that we can bind the property with V model, and you can see all the other properties you could pass in. Okay, so let me just see if this is updated yet. Let me refresh. Updated. Okay, so now we see it here. Okay, and now let me get rid of the old fields. Let's just comment them out for, actually, just get rid of them. You can always hit the undo button. And let's just make sure that they work. So let me bring up the login component, username, Alex Merced, password, good, so they work. And let's see here, if I hit login, does that work still? Yep, that still works, perfect. Okay, so now we're using the component. Now I don't want that to be so wide, so I'm gonna give this div a class. Class equals login. I'm gonna add a style tag here because it's gonna bug me. Style dot class login, and we're going to say we want the width to be 70%, and we want the margin to be 10 pix auto, so that centers, and then that should make those forms look a little bit better. But let me refresh. Log in. Yeah, that looks a bit better. Okay. And let me just change this to password again. Password. And we log in. Now, the problem with this is that even though I'm logged in, I could click on login again and it takes me back here. So I don't want this login button there anymore the minute we are logged in. So we need to change that. But that button is defined in header. So I need to pass in the state that we're logged in to header. So we're going to have to bind another one. So v bind logged in to logged in. So I'm saying take the logged in property on this and bind it to the logged in property on the child component. And then we should properly pass in these props. So we should make a property called props. And right now we have two props being passed in, which are URL and logged in, just so that we expect them. Save. So what we're going to do is on the login button, we want this to only show up if it's logged in as false. Okay, and then we want a log out button. Okay, which is not really a link actually. It's just a button. If logged in, so if logged in is true, we should show up and say log out. Okay, and then I also want to wrap this in a button so that way this link is technically a button as well. So I'll just put the button in here, button, and then put the button text, Control X, into here. Now we want to style that button. So let's go back to Beaufy. Or actually I'll go to, yeah, button, there we go. Let's take some of these buttons. Class button is, let's use this link color here. Class button is link. Control C. And let's just style these buttons. Save. Now let's just see if that's working. Okay. Now we have this login button. Let's refresh. If I hit login, and then we type in password here. Perfect. Okay, so you can see it changes to a logout button. So I can't go back to log in to the login screen because it changes into a logout button, which right now does nothing. What we want now, we want to create like a logout function, which that should be in header. So, comma, methods, and then which is going to be an object, and we're going to have a logout method, which is a function. And all this is really going to do is this dot emit an event called logout. We're not going to pass any information. We don't need to. Just a logout event. So then if we go back to app, now we can create an event that is bound to the logout event. So we can say at logout. If logout happens, we'll have another function here. It's called logout that'll run. Okay, so so when that logout event happens outside of the header component, when it emits that event, it'll run this function that'll update the app data. So let's create that method. So logout, and what this is going to do is update this dot logged in back to false, and make this dot tokens back to empty. Okay, save. So let's redo this whole process. Let's go to login, password, okay, password. I hit login. Okay, so we're logged in. And now if I click log out, it should log me back out. And it quite worked the way we thought. So let's do a couple things. First, go back to header. Did we actually attach the function to the button? No, we did not. So that would make a difference. At click equals logout. There we go. So let's try this again. Now if I click on the logout button, and it logged out. Good. So you turn back to login. Log in. Password. And I can log out. Okay, perfect. So it's working. Okay, so we can log out and log back in. Okay. So now what we want to do is set a page. We really, now come to think about it, we really don't need these other links. They don't really go anywhere at the moment. Essentially, it's really just going to do is just take us to, once we're logged in, it'll just take us to a page where we'll list all our things. So I'm going to start getting rid of some of these extra links in the navigation. Okay, so let's just do that real quick. Okay, so let's see here. We don't really need, actually really just don't need this. Okay, what I will do is I'm going to do a span with the class of logo. I'm going to wrap the notes app in there so we can style it and just give it sort of a more logo-y type feel. So let's see here. Let's go to fonts.google.com and just look up some sort of randomly decorated font. Let's just take a look at the newest fonts. Sort by newest. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, I want, where do I, here we go. This is what I'm looking for. I think that's the font I wanted. Let's see, select styles. Ah, here we go. Select the style. Okay, and I want to embed it. So I want to use the @import rule. So I'm just going to copy this, copy. Let's go back to header, back to style. Include the @import there. And then we're going to do the span with the class of logo. And say what I want there is font family to be parecito. Okay, and then let's say font size 1.5 EMs. Okay, so it took the size, font size, let's just make it 2 EMs. That's a little bigger, nice, good Notes app. So see that's starting to look a little nicer, Notes app. Cool. Anything else I want to do for the rest of this video? Let's just start creating the page that's going to, we will just actually use this home component. Let's clear it out. Just clear out this whole hello world thing. I don't need that. Empty out the div. We're not going to import hello world anymore. This is just going to be where we make our API call. and populate our, and basically do our CRUD on our list items. You only get to this page once you've successfully logged in. So what I want to do is modify on app that when, let's see here, need to go to our router. We want to go to, well, that is our main page, isn't it? Let's use the about page. Let's just copy home from it, because I want to use the other style. V, so we're going to call this main. Okay. Main. I want to rename this main. So when you log in, you're going to get to this main component, and back to router. So I want to import that main component to C. Main from main.view. So we import the component. Why doesn't it like that? Main is declared, but its value is never read. Okay, we're going to fix that in a second. I'm going to delete this one. We're not using that anymore. Control C. Here we go. And this is going to be main. 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 Okay. And so now we'll basically what'll happen is that if we go back to app.view, instead of pushing to slash, it's going to push to main. Okay. And then we'll start building that out in the next video. So this was just kind of like a nice, some nice maintenance video. So our app is looking spiffy. Okay, we successfully logged in. Yay. Okay, now we just need to get it where we can do stuff once we logged in. Okay, I'll see you guys in the next video. Ciao. Actually, should we edit the footer? That doesn't really matter. Again, you can just edit the footer to say, you know, the name, your name, and link to your portfolio and all that stuff. So see you guys later on. Ciao.